Hello dear students, hope you are okay, you are fine, you are safe. God bless you and bless your families. Let me remind you of the reported speech. Sure you remember it, but I'll try to remind you and make some practice. You know that the reported speech, the speech in general, has different kinds. We have question, we have sentence, we have order. So all these sentences or all these kinds of speech, we are going to report them and know how. To report statement, we change said into many words. It's changed into said that because you are going to tell something, you are going to say something. So we turn said into said that. It could also be turned into explained, and it could be turned into threatened, and also it could be turned into admitted. So according to the meaning inside the inverted commas, you change the word said into the suitable word. What if we have said to? When we have said to, it means we have two persons talking together. So somebody said to another body. So it's turned into told. Somebody told another body that, and then you continue reporting his speech. It also could be somebody informed another body, another one, that, and then you go on reporting his speech. So this is the way you change said or said to in order to report the statement. We also change words describing time and place. How? For time, we have a word like today. If two persons are talking together and one of them say, today I'll visit you, for instance, and then you repeat this speech after 3 days, will it be the same day? Will it be the same day? Can you say today also? Of course not. So today is turned into that day, the day when they were talking together. A word like now, if somebody says, come here now, now could be in the morning, and maybe you report the speech in the afternoon or at night. So you can't say now, you should say then. It means at that time, at the time when they were talking together. A word like yesterday. Yesterday should be changed into the day before. Last week should be changed into the week before. 2 days ago should be changed into 2 days before. 2 days before they were talking together. What about tomorrow? If you have tomorrow, it should be the next day or the following day. Next week should be turned into the week after or the next week. What about place? A word like here. If two persons are talking in the playground, and for instance, he says to his friend, I'm here. and then you report his speech in the street. Can you say he said he was here? Of course not. He was in the playground, and now you reported the speech in the street. So you can't say here. You say there. It means there in the playground where they were talking together. A word like this, if something is close to you and you can touch, you say this. But when you report the speech, you report it in another place. So you can't find this same thing and touch it. It's not close to you. So you can't say this. You turn it into that. We also move the tenses one step back. We go back with the tense one step. If the verb in if the tense of the verb is present simple, you turn it into past simple. You go back. If the verb is in the past simple, you turn it into past perfect. A step back. If it is in the present continuous, you turn it into past continuous. If it is in the present perfect, you turn it into past perfect. So, two tenses are turned into past perfect. The past simple and the present perfect. Both of them are turned into past perfect. For the present perfect, it consists of have or has plus pp. Instead of have eaten, it should be had eaten. What about the modals? The modals should be put in the past. Notice that there is no change when you report a fact. When you report a fact, you don't change anything. You don't change, I mean the tense of the verb. Why? Because the fact is a fact. It doesn't change. The student said, "My name is Yusuf." If his name is Yusuf today, it will be Yusuf tomorrow. So this is a fact. His name is a fact. If we say, for instance, the river Nile is the longest river in the world, could it be the shortest river in the world later? Of course not. So the fact doesn't change. That's why we don't change the tense of the verb. So the student said that his name is Yusuf. So you only changed said into said that, and you omit the comma and the inverted commas, and then you change the pronoun my into his name, but is as a verb as it is. You don't change it. Another kind of reported speech is reporting the question. You know well that we have two kinds of question. We have the question which starts with question word like when, what, where, and the yes-no question or the interrogative. To report question, we use the words asked, inquired, wondered, or wanted to know. If you have two persons asking, one of them asking the other about something, so you say somebody asked another body, and then you report the question. Or inquired. Inquired means wanted to get information, wanted to ask about something. Or wondered, it's different from wondered. W-A-N-D-E-R, wonder means to walk, to go around. But here, wonder, it means ask. or wanted to know. We also change the word order from the form of a question to the form and word order of a sentence. So the direct question ends with a question mark, but the indirect question or the reported question should end with a full stop, because you change the word order into the word order of a sentence, not a direct question. For instance, Hani said to his brother, "Where did you go yesterday?" Hani is asking his brother, "Where did you go yesterday?" We have here the word said to, and it should be changed into asked, or inquired, or wondered, or wanted to know. All these are correct. So it should be Hani asked his brother. You omit the comma and the inverted commas, and then you put the question word as it is, where, as it is where, but not capital, of course, because you are not starting a question. No, it's a continuation to your speech, which starts with Hani. Hani asked his brother where he had gone the day before. What about the verb? Before the verb, did we put auxiliary after where? No, we can't say where did. We say where did when we ask somebody directly. It's a direct question. Question word followed by auxiliary or a helping or modal verb. But now you turn it into indirect question, which should be in the form of a sentence. So you say where he, and the verb is go. Is it go? No, go is an infinitive. So what's the tense of go? You don't know? You know. When you pay attention to did, it indicates the past tense. And also you have yesterday. So the meaning indicates the past tense. You have two indicators. So it's not go, it's went. If the verb is in the past simple, went, it should be in the past perfect. So it should be had gone. Where he had gone, and then yesterday should be turned into the day before. And notice here it ends with a full stop, not with a question mark. Another example. It's the same example. No. Hani inquired. Yes, the same example, but here we are going to use the word inquired instead of asked. Hani inquired about. When you use inquired, you should use about. Inquired about what? About where his brother, and the verb had gone as it is in the past perfect, the day before. I didn't change the example so that you can concentrate on the difference between how to use asked or how to use inquired or wondered or wanted to know. But the steps of changing the pronoun, changing the verb, moving it back one step, changing the words of time or place, it's the same. Hani wondered where his brother had gone the day before. Hani wondered where his brother had gone the day before. You can say it in another way. Hani wanted to know, he wanted to know where his brother had gone the day before. So now you could see how we use any of these words to report the question. What about the question which is interrogative, or the yes-no question? To report yes-no question, we use if or whether. We use if or whether. Let's have an example. The father said, "Have you eaten your lunch, Amgad?" So the father here is asking Amgad if he had eaten his lunch or not. So we have here said, and we know that it's the father asking Amgad. So said here is changed into asked. The father asked Amgad if he, and the verb is eaten or have eaten. The verb in the direct question is have eaten. It's present perfect, so it's turned into past perfect. Had eaten. And then the pronoun your lunch, which is Amgad's lunch, you change your into his lunch, Amgad's lunch. The last kind of reported speech is to report the order or the command or the imperative. We use the words told, ordered or asked, advised or suggested. So all these words could be used when the speech is like order, giving instructions, imperative. What about told? Is it the same told we used in the statement, for the statement? Of course not. Told here, it's a kind of order. It's a kind of giving the order, but not in the way of order. Just to tell somebody, like giving instructions, to tell somebody to do something. Ordered or asked. What's the difference between ordered and asked? Let's have an example. The mother said to Johnny, "Arrange your clothes before you go out." Here the mother you can use told, you can use ordered, you also can use asked or advised or also suggested, but each of them has a special way for using. The mother ordered Tony to arrange his clothes. Notice here, to. She ordered him to arrange. Of course, we don't go back with the verb one step. We don't move the verb one step back, because it's preceded by to. To arrange his clothes instead of your clothes. You change, of course, the pronoun. Before he, instead of you, go out, you go back with the verb, you make it went. Instead of present simple, you turn it into past simple. So this verb go is turned into went, but the verb arrange should be in the infinitive because it's preceded by to. We can say if the mother talks to Tony in that way, if she says, Tony, come and arrange your clothes before you go out. In this way, she's ordering him, she's giving him an order. Come and arrange your clothes before you go out. And she can say, will you please, Tony, arrange your clothes before you go out? So this is a kind of asking. You can say the mother asked Tony to arrange his clothes before he went out. And the mother could say, I think it's better to arrange your clothes before you go out. If I were you, I would arrange my clothes before I go out. So this is a kind of advice. You can say the mother advised Tony to arrange his clothes before he went out. And it could be, what about arranging your clothes before you go out, Tony? So this is a kind of suggestion. So it, according to the way of giving the instructions, it could be ordered or asked or advised or whatever. The boy said to his colleague, don't waste your time. Do you think this is an order? Can the boy order his colleague? Of course not, although he says, don't waste your time. But this is not an order. It's a kind of advice. So instead of said to, you will use advised. The boy advised his colleague. Instead of to waste, can you say to waste his time? Of course not. It would be a bad advice. He says, don't waste your time. So instead of to, you should say it not to waste his time. Another example. Sarah said to Farida, let's go to the library. Here it's a kind of suggestion. So you can say, Sarah suggested going to the library with Farida, or Sarah suggested or recommended going to the library with Farida. So this is how you can use any of these words, and they are all correct. It's according to the way of talking. I hope you remembered everything about the reported speech, and I hope you can make a lot of practice about this. You should practice well, and till we meet again, I wish you good luck. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.